Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your trusted source for the jokes that exposed everything. So let me set the scene for you and tell you what really happened. Saturday Night Live is usually harmless fun, a place for light jokes and popcorn moments. But on this particular night, the air felt different. Colin Jost walked out with that calm, polite smile he always carries, and then casually dropped the joke that made the entire room freeze. The new UK trade deal is simple. America keeps Meghan Markle. For a second, no one reacted. It was that sharp type of silence where the audience looks around like, did he really just say that? Then the laughter hit. Loud, wild, relieved. The kind of laugh people make when someone finally voices what's been brewing under the surface. But while the studio was shaking with applause, insiders say Meghan's Montecito mansion went ice cold. A wine glass reportedly met a marble counter, and the message was clear. SNL hadn't just poked her. They had opened a door she never wanted anyone touching. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report now. Don't miss how SNL destroyed Meghan's image. And if the crowd reaction was the spark, the next joke was the explosion. Colin went in for round 2, only if she deletes her Instagram again. Another explosion of laughter because everyone knew exactly what that meant. Meghan's brand has always been her true power. The soft focus quotes, the staged poses, the glowing lifestyle messaging. And when comedians start attacking your brand, not your talent, it means people see the cracks. But then came the quiet, sharp jab that sent shockwaves backstage, an allusion to Prince Andrew and certain islands. He didn't linger on it, didn't name names, just threw it into the air like a feather that somehow landed like a brick. Insiders say Meghan's team panicked immediately, because that tiny reference touched the subject she has worked hardest to bury. Not a loud rumor, not a public scandal, a whisper, the kind only industry people exchanged behind closed doors. SNL hadn't just mocked her. They had brushed against the one part of her past everyone was instructed never to mention. Stay tuned to Royal Daily Report. We revealed the yacht photos that resurfaced. And as if the universe wanted to add gasoline to an already burning situation, a set of yacht photos suddenly resurfaced right in the middle of the SNL aftermath. These weren't grainy party pictures or accidental snapshots. These were high-quality, sunlit images straight out of a luxury magazine. A gleaming yacht floating off a European coast, men in designer sunglasses, champagne gleaming in crystal flutes. Staff moving with practiced discretion. And in the center, a woman who looked exactly like Meghan Markle. Laughing, glowing, perfectly posed. Not Duchess Meghan, not global humanitarian Meghan. This was pre-royal suit, Sierra Meghan, the version sold to the world as the relatable, hardworking actress with a simple lifestyle. But nothing about those photos looked simple. The timing raised eyebrows immediately. Meghan was preparing a full rebrand, new wine label, new media projects, new lifestyle empire, and suddenly photos from a chapter she never includes in her story float back into the spotlight. The question people began asking wasn't, is that her? It was, how did she get on a yacht like that back then? Because Suit Sierra Meghan wasn't supposed to have billionaire-level access. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for the timeline contradictions. That type of environment isn't casual, it's exclusive, One insider said it bluntly. People don't end up on those yachts without someone powerful putting their name on the list. And just like that, whispers Meghan thought were long buried began to rise again, ready to connect themselves to the joke SNL dared to make out loud. Once those yacht photos resurfaced, people didn't just stare at the scenery. They stared at the timeline. Because the Meghan the world saw back then was not yacht-level Meghan. She was Suit Sierra Meghan, giving interviews about working hard, doing yoga at dawn, and manifesting her dreams like any regular girl with a Pinterest board. But luxury yachts don't run on Pinterest boards. And that's what made the photos so confusing. Her public story at the time was all about grind, humility, and personal growth. The girl next door who made it on talent, charm, and hard work. But the woman in those photos wasn't sipping herbal tea in Toronto. She was laughing on a boat that looked like it required a billionaire to even start the engine. The contrast was too sharp to ignore. Her timeline said, small budget actress finding her footing. The photo said guest list curated by royalty and tycoons. Royal Daily Report bringing you the brand contradiction. And that mismatch, that's where the cracks in her fairy tale started to show. To understand why those photos hit so hard, you have to look at the brand Meghan spent years perfecting. Every element of her public persona was smooth, intentional, and tied up with a ribbon. Yoga, kindness, girl power, handwritten notes, and those aspirational lifestyle moments she posted on the TIG. She crafted a version of herself that felt clean, simple, and safe. The modern Cinderella with avocado toast instead of glass slippers. That image wasn't just for fans. It was her currency, the foundation of everything she built after joining the royal world. But here's the issue. If you build your image on purity and self-made success, anything that contradicts it becomes a problem. And the yacht photos didn't just contradict it, they flipped the whole script. Because the Meghan in those images didn't look like a woman climbing her way up slowly. She looked like someone who already had access to the highest rooms long before the world was told she earned her way into them. A Hollywood source summed it up simply. Her brand relies on consistency. Anything that doesn't match the story threatens the whole thing. And the resurfaced photos, they were the first open sign that her story might have missing chapters. Subscribe now to Royal Daily Report. We expose the palace cleanup. When Meghan entered the royal picture, the palace didn't just welcome her. They went into full preservation mode. According to insiders, the moment her relationship with Harry became serious, palace aides began quietly checking her past. The way someone checks a house before moving in. Every drawer, every corner, every forgotten box in the attic. And when they found whispers about her early social circles, the elite gatherings, the powerful men, the private invitations, they didn't panic. They polished. Stories disappeared. Old threads got lost. Publications received gentle reminders to focus on her present, not her past. Nothing loud, nothing suspicious, just careful hands smoothing out the edges of her life, so she could transition into royalty with a spotless narrative. But here's the thing about a cleanup. It only works when the past stays buried. So, when those yacht photos resurfaced and SNL brought up a name the palace never wanted connected to Meghan, the old rumor network didn't just wake up. It stretched, yawned, and walked right back into the daylight. The palace had tried to seal the cracks. But the next part of this story is where the cracks become too big to hide. After everything hit at once, the SNL jokes, the resurfaced photos, the revived whispers, people expected Meghan to respond. A denial, a press statement, a quote about resilience, anything. But she said nothing. Royal Daily Report, your window into Meghan's silence. Not one sentence, not a post, not even a cryptic. In difficult times, we stay strong message in gold cursive. Instead, sources say Meghan went into complete lockdown. No staged outings, no paparazzi bait, no cheerful coffee run accidentally caught by photographers. Just silence. The kind that feels heavy, like someone holding their breath and hoping the storm passes without noticing them. Insiders described frantic energy inside the house. Phones buzzing nonstop, staff pacing, emails flying in every direction. One source said something that made everyone look twice. She didn't know which part to deny. That line alone shifts everything because in Hollywood and royalty, if something is false, you shut it down fast and loudly. You don't hide, you don't freeze, you don't wait. But Meghan froze, and when someone goes still during a scandal, that's when the world starts leaning in. While Meghan stayed silent, something even more unexpected happened. Harry stepped back, not physically, emotionally. People noticed he wasn't showing up to their usual joint events. He wasn't defending Meghan in interviews the way he used to. He wasn't flashing that everything's fine smile he always pulls out when the press starts growling. Don't forget to subscribe to Royal Daily Report for Harry's distance. Insiders describe him as distant, distracted, almost haunted. One source said he looked like a man reading fine print he had avoided for years, the kind that changes the whole contract once. You finally see what's written, and that's where the real tension began. Harry had given up his life, his titles, his home, his family connections, to defend Meghan's narrative. He built his world around her story. But now, with those old photos and whispers surfacing and Meghan refusing to clarify anything, insiders say he began questioning everything he thought he knew about her early life. The silence between them allegedly became heavier than the headlines. Meghan was fighting to keep the story together. Harry was standing back, trying to understand the part of the story he never got to read. And that emotional shift, it becomes the fuel for the final chapter. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. The scandal isn't the SNL joke. It isn't the yacht photos. It isn't even the tension swirling through the Montecito mansion. The real scandal is the illusion. For years, Meghan Markle didn't just rise, she curated her ascent. Royal Daily Report, bringing you the curated illusion, exposed. Every avocado bowl, every warm interview, every glowing profile was a piece of a perfect picture. The underdog turned duchess, the humanitarian sweetheart, the self-made woman who married into monarchy like a modern fairy tale. But fairy tales have one rule: they break the moment the mask slips. And these resurfaced moments, the jokes, the whispers, the photos, didn't expose her past. They exposed the fault line beneath the story she told. Because suddenly the world wasn't asking, is that Meghan on the yacht? They were asking, what else did she leave out? And once people start questioning the image, they begin noticing the pieces that never fit the puzzle in the first place. The glamour, the connections, the missing chapters, the strategic reinvention. All the parts of her past that were too sharp to fit into the soft, glowing fairy tale she presented to the public. Now, the image is flickering. The illusion has a crack, and the world is watching through that crack to see what's on the other side. Because this isn't the end of the story. This is the moment right before the curtain lifts. The moment when the whispers get louder. The moment when insiders stop holding back, and according to those close to the situation, we're only seeing the first spark of a fire that's just getting started. This was Royal Daily Report, uncovering how one SNL joke shattered Meghan's carefully built image. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon. This fire is just beginning. Stay connected with Royal Daily Report, where illusions crack and truth emerges.